مساء الخير ورمضان كريم عليكم على الجميع. حنتظر شوية كمان كم دقائق وبعدين ندردش مع بعض. إذا في أحد يحب يشاركني أهلا وسهلا. فتحت اللايف اليوم يعني إذا ممكن نتكلم شوية عن رمضان، كيف نقضي شهر رمضان المبارك، وكيف نفكر ونشعر بأخواننا في غزة وفي فلسطين. Some of my followers are English speakers only, so I will try and speak a little bit of English, a little bit of Arabic. I wanted to go on my live and say Ramadan Kareem to everybody. I hope you all have a blessed month. I have personally shifted my energy since the beginning of Ramadan into praying for the people of Gaza. I have not lost hope. I'm very hopeful that something good will happen. Unfortunately, each day we're losing so much lives. We can see what's happening. You're probably reading the news. I'm reading maybe less news than the usual. صرت أقرأ أخبار أو أتصفح الأخبار أقل من العادة، بس عشان يعني طبعا الشهر الفضيل والعبادات. But I'm really hoping for me to benefit and for everybody to benefit from the holy month. There is something to it. If the month of Ramadan has started and the people of Gaza are still getting killed, it's not something usual that you think for the holy month it should be respected. No war should happen, no killing should happen, and you would think it shouldn't happen anyway. But the fact that it's a holy month and it's still happening, and we're still seeing the massacre of people going for food and getting killed, getting murdered by the Israelis. And it's the month of Ramadan. There is a lot of power in our dua. So I believe if we shifted this energy right now into dua, prayer, hopefully we can all do something. Like, even if, don't think because you are sitting at home you can't do something, you can't make a change. A donation can help. A donation can reach some families. A prayer, one of us may have a prayer that might be accepted. I don't know who, I don't know when. I obviously think what's happening in Gaza is also a test for humanity, for all of us. It's not a test maybe for them as much as it's a test for us to realize that this life, there's so much injustice happening in this life. And we see it now. We see you think if you live in a country where all the laws are there to prevent you from being oppressed or abused or this or that, it's becoming very clear for once that it's not really true. And some people, because where they're from where they've migrated, they will get more benefits and better treatment than others. And unfortunately, that this is the case that we're witnessing today. And I say this as I have experienced it myself. I've seen it happening. I remember, and I don't wanna say, like, because Ukrainian or Palestinian, I'm not comparing anything like that. I don't mean these people deserve less help. That's not the way I think about it. But in the UK, when the war happened in Ukraine, we saw so much empathy from everyone living here. Okay, we didn't see big protests and demonstrations as much as what we saw for Palestine, but maybe because the country took an action straight away to help Ukraine. How all the countries stood together to boycott Russia, to make them unable, to cut ties with them, trading and all of that, for them to stop the war in Ukraine. It showed you that there was something happening straight away to help those getting killed, the innocent people, whoever they are. Then we saw the flags of Ukraine everywhere. Then we saw the schools are accepting students here who flee here. There were flights that came all the way or sent there to get people back here. So there was so much things happening, and it hasn't even been a long time since that war happened in Ukraine and what happened in Palestine. That's why we see clearly the difference in the treatment and the difference between, okay, this was a war and this is self-defense or whatever justification that has been made. That's why where I see things are not being just, and it's upsetting me, because in reality, I don't want to see people suffer. I don't want to see any nation suffer. And I wish the whole world to live peacefully. Inshallah, I really hope we see peace in this world. The war in Ukraine started in 2014, not 22, and the war in Palestine started in 1948, not 2023. 100%, of course. I agree with you, and Lessons for Life 24/7 is teaching me lessons 24/7, as he is my husband, so the lessons are non-stop, as you can see. So thank you for your contribution, Julian, as always. And inshallah, Mac, inshallah, we pray for peace soon, bi'idhnillah. It's just that's very, very sad that we see the genocide went from killing innocent people now to starve them, and then to drop the AIDS like that. And I don't know if you have read the news and how much you've been updated about some of the AIDS destroying a solar panel in a hospital, and it was the source of electricity that they were getting. So really, rather than benefiting these people, these AIDS now are causing a chaos, causing people, having to go to the sea. It's really upsetting to see the way the AIDS are being dropped, really. Like, what is with all the trucks that are there by the border? What's stopping them from entering? I'm just wondering here, like, do we put the blame on Egypt leaders? I don't even blame the people, because I know the people in every nation and every country, the majority are against what's happening, and the majority are standing with Palestine. But right now, I am wondering what's happening to these leaders. Why are they not doing anything? Why are they not even sending the army to stop? You don't have to cause a war. You don't have to kill any of them by the borders. You just tell them to step away and get the trucks, the aids to go in. I just wonder, why is this not happening? And I'm sure most of you are also wondering what happened, like what's wrong with all these leaders around Palestine? Why aren't they all standing together and helping to feed these people and to stop the genocide? And I'm also reflecting and thinking about, how all these countries, we call it Rabi' al-Arabi. Maybe, Julian, you can help and translate. In Egypt, in Yemen, in Syria, in Iraq, all these movements that went against their leaders and calling for better leaders and all of that, and ثورة 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 وقامت الثورة وصار انقلاب على الحكام و Where is all these people that went out and stood against their government and said, we want a better standard, better life, fairness, all of that? What happened? Like, where is everyone that stood out? Now there's even a better cause to go out on the streets and say, no, this is enough. Like, we can't be silent anymore. In the UK, and I'm saying this, obviously, do what's right according to the law of the country that you live in. I am not saying go do something and get yourself in trouble or end up in prison and what have you. We all have laws that we have to follow within the countries that we live in, and we can practice what we are allowed to share our views and or object in the right way, in the right manner. And in the UK here, we have the right to protest, until now, at least, even though you can probably also hear in the news how they're trying to manipulate it and call it hate marches and what have you. But really and truly, from all the marches that I've been to so far, I have seen nothing but peace, honestly, peaceful marches. I haven't seen any fights, I haven't seen any arguments, I haven't seen anything whatsoever to put me off from going again. I went out with my little son, who was not even 3, he's just turned 3 now. And I've seen so many mums that came out with their buggies, their children. So if you see marches that are thousands and thousands of people are out with their children, and they go again with their children, obviously they are safe. If there were hate, if there's doubts that there will be one fight or, people pushing each other or anything like that, no one would risk their kids' life. No one would go out with their kids, no? Do you not agree with me? There were elderly people, there were even spaces provided for less able, the disability and so on. I must say, I am impressed by the way these protests were organized. And it just shows you that we don't need the government to tell us what to do and how to do things. If we unite together, and we have one trusted leader of a company, organization, what have you, we can always succeed. Most of the plans that we've seen recently of trying to kill that community, and of course, the last few years, what happened, without me having to mention it, there is a big agenda of killing this community love, community support, community gatherings. Even all the spaces that are provided for communities now are being replaced by buildings, businesses, money making. This is how the world is shifting now. They're really trying to kill any community space out there. So maybe my message today, if there is a clear message, if you haven't got it yet, is that we all have to stand together. We don't need one person to sit on a chair and tell us, you're allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do this, you're that. We can share our voices peacefully. And if we want peace, I don't think anybody should stop us, right? Like, we just want peace for us and for those who are oppressed in other countries. And if the country that we live in are involved in it in any way, then we should step out and say something. Again, peacefully. Lastly, in Ramadan, if you are fasting, if you are praying, please do remember the people of Gaza. I'm sure most of you do. But make that extra effort, make that extra prayer. Shift that energy into I believe in God's power, and God is just, and God will be with them, inshallah, and we'll see the victory very soon. There are so many signs that there's already the voice of Palestinians have reached every house in this planet, inshallah. Inshallah, in the holy month of Ramadan, bi'idhnillah, we will see a change, bi'idhnillah. And you see, like, just to know how much the remembrance of Palestine and how Palestine have been mentioned now, and the history of Palestine, and all of this acknowledgement that's been happening right now, this is on its own, it's a win. And for once we are seeing what the Israelis are actually doing. Some of us knew, some of us didn't see what was happening in the jails for these people that are kidnapped, the children, underage, most of the rights that they should have, and it's not there. We've seen it clearly. So I'm sure the Palestinians are winning, and I'm sure, inshallah, the victory will be soon. We'll stay hopeful, we'll stay strong, we'll protest, we'll boycott, we'll do everything as a community, and we'll win together, inshallah. And blessed month, blessed Ramadan, Ramadan Mubarak, from my family to yours. Have a good evening. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Until next time, we speak again in Dardasha.